Okay, ngayon discuss naman natin yung sensitivity analysis. So it just simply means na kapag may binago tayo sa mga input, ano kaya yung maging impact nun sa magiging decision or conclusion natin. No, so in finance and engineering economics, sensitivity analysis tests the robustness of results using yung mga methods like yung PW, the annual worth, IRR, NPV, or even may iba-iba pang methods, no? Sa mga previous discussion, certain tayo sa mga makukuha salvage value, sa makukuha nating revenue, and even yung inflation rate na ginamit natin for 5 years ay the same lang. But in reality, volatile yon, nagbabago-bago per year. The inflation rate is not the same all throughout. The material cost also change depende dun sa demand. Yung mga sales natin, nakadepende din sa demand, no? And then yung mga presyo magbabago. So lahat 'yun affected ng microeconomics or mga principles natin related to law of supply and demand. So we are not, in reality, hindi talaga natin masasabi kung okay yung magiging revenue natin in the future. That's why we conduct this sensitivity analysis. Meron tayong different methods, no, that we use when we have the sensitivity analysis. Merong mas advanced, but for now ang gagawin lang natin ay just some introductory topic kung bakit ba tayo nagkakandak ng sensitivity analysis and ano yung mga basic examples na related to this topic, no? Yung mga basic lang muna, just to give you an overview about this. Now, meron din tayong mga tinatawag na one-way or univariate sensitivity. It is when we change one driver or one input. Like, babaguhin natin yung selling price, yung demand, or variable cost. Basta isang input lang yung babaguhin natin. And ano yung magiging epekto nun sa profit or NPV. So, nagkakandak pa lang tayo ng analysis or study. Kasi doon sa mga net present worth natin, we are sure na yung values ng selling price ng mga variable cost is the same, and ang makukuha nating net present worth ay isa lang, and dun lang tayo magbe-base ng decision. But for sensitivity analysis, maglalagay tayo, magsiset tayo ng iba't ibang values ng selling price, no, and ano yung magiging expected din na present worth. So ibig sabihin, magkakaroon din tayo ng madaming values for the net present worth, the annual worth, and at least kahit pa paano mapipredict natin yung mga range of values nung magiging net present worth in the future, kung yung future worth yung ginagamit ninyo or kung present worth man. Meron din tayong tinatawag na two-way sensitivity. Ito ay kapag dalawa yung gagawin nating sensitive or babaguhin, no? Hindi lang siya nakabase sa isang value. Say for example, the price and the demand. Pwede din yung discount rate or inflation. Meron din tayong mga advanced techniques na ginagamit. Yun yung scenario-based or probabilistic analysis. So, mas advanced na yung mga parameters na kailangan. Now, how about the percentage? Okay, so ito yung percentage. Pero, discuss muna natin. So, sensitivity analysis is crucial for several reasons. First, the quantifying uncertainties, and then to identify critical variables. Kung ano ba yung input na nagko-cause ng magandang result, ano yung input na nagko-cause ng hindi magandang result. The third one, the risk management, ito. So that we can predict the worst case scenario, and then we can conduct some mitigating actions para maiwasan natin yung possible. Once na nag-conduct tayo ng sensitivity analysis, nakita natin na at this price or at this output, wala tayong makukuhang kita or revenue at the end. So, para ma-prevent natin yun, no, so we'll have this risk management based on the outcome of our sensitivity analysis, and of course, to support our decision making. Okay, so how about these percentage ranges? So, iba't ibang types ng businesses, iba't ibang percentage lang din yung ginagamit nila kung gaano ba ka-sensitive, no? kung gaano ka-sensitive yung project, nakadepende siya dun sa volatility ng business, no? Meron tayong mga businesses na stable lang, no? So they use these conservative bands, and meron din tayong mga businesses na highly volatile. That's why ang mga ginagamit nila sa pag-estimate ng mga expected na revenues or yung mga binabago nila ay matataas din na percentage or yung mga tinatawag nating extreme band. So, under conservative band, yung gumagamit ng plus or minus 10% dun sa mga costs and prices. Nandito yung mga regulated utilities, yung merong subscription services or established manufacturing lines with lock-in supply contracts. So, basta under this conservative band, no, small parameter moves are realistic and still informative. So, yun yung mga tinatawag nating meron din tayong mga atong plus or minus 20%. So, ito yung mga project, moderate. So, moderate band. So, under this, they are the suitable for consumer goods, food service, and mainstream construction packages where material or demand swings happen but are usually manageable. So, we usually use plus or minus 20% for a one-way test or with a tornado chart, which will see in the next slide. Yung mga 50% plus or minus, they are broad or high-risk band. So, they are used for a capital-intensive or technology-changing projects like for automation versus labor alternatives, mega project packages with commodity exposure, or early market entries. So, lahat ng energy techno-economic studies, ito yung ginagamit nila for conducting sensitivity analysis, plus or minus 50%. Pero naman itong mga extreme band or merong ginagamit na percentage variation, plus or minus 100%. So, these are from highly volatile undertakings like early stage biotech. No, kapag mga novel na mga project or startup, ito yung mga matataas na sensitivity. So, early stage biotech, mining exploration, speculative commodity plays, or novel clean tech pilots, no, where doubling or having a driver is plausible. Okay, so meron din tayong mga nakadepende sa industry or project standards. So, highly volatile sectors includes the oil and gas, mining, and early stage tech, yung nasabi kanina. So, they use wider ranges like 30%, 50%, and even 100%. So, under stable infrastructure, they use plus or minus 10%. Or, we have this historical data-based ranges. So, when we have history, so we don't guess, no, we just measure. So, you just have to look at yung mga data from 3 to 5 years and you just need to evaluate yung behavior niya or yung performance niya from those years, now given yung mga data. So, for under this, they usually use plus or minus 15%. Now, as long as you know the data, lalong-lalo na meron ng AI ngayon, machine learning, you can actually predict kung ano ba yung kailangan nating percentage na i-consider, no, yung mga pagbabago in the future, no, based on the historical data. So that we can predict the future. Usually, yun naman yung ginagamit, no. Pero kapag wala kayong historical data, you can use the proven estimates, no, based dun sa mga standards. Like kung ano yung type ng industry niyo, then you can use highly volatile bands, percentage range, kung ano yung mga parameters na babaguhin niyo. So, here are some examples of the variable limits, kung ilan yung mga binabago natin or yung mga ranges na pwede nating baguhin yung mga inputs. So, the first one is yung mga sales in volume. We often use plus or minus 20 to 50%. Now, the demand uncertainty is usually the largest driver in commercial projects. For the sales price, we use plus or minus 10% to 30%. Prices move with competition and positioning. For the unit variable cost, we have plus or minus 10 to 30 operating expenses. No, ano ba yung annual operating ninyo? Pwede kayong mag-estimate ng mga values ranging from plus or minus 10% to 20%. For capital expenditure, 10 to 50. Interest rate, kasi maliit lang yung interest rate, 2 to 5%. Inflation, 0 to 5%. And project duration, 10 to 30%. So schedule slippage or acceleration directly hits the overhead. Okay, so we have other methods that we use to present kung paano ba yung pagiging sensitive ng mga inputs. Pwede natin siyang ma-present using this tornado diagram. So, it's a bar chart that shows the impact of varying each input parameter individually on a project outcome. So, mas maganda naman kasing naka-chart or naka-graph yung mga ipipresent. So, the first one is this tornado diagram. So, from this, makikita na natin kung ano yung input, kung ano yung parameter na mas malaki yung impact dun sa maging revenue. So, using this diagram. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na spider plots or radar. So, spider plots show several one-way sensitivities at once on a common radial scale with the base case at the center. So, each spoke is an input. So, meron silang tinatawag na spoke. Yun yung input. So, the distance from the center shows the output change at a given percentage swing. So, this diagram is useful when you need to compare shape. For instance, the alternative is more sensitive to capex versus opex versus utilization. So, pwede nyo siyang aralin. Meron tayong mga terminologies, capex, opex versus utilization. So, you'll see spider diagrams used in petroleum economics and engineering models to visualize parameter influence. So, the longer the polygon toward the spoke, the more sensitive the project. So, the more kapag malayo, the longer the polygon towards the spoke. So, pair the spider with tornado. The tornado ranks the importance. The spider shows the pattern across many inputs. Di ba may ganito sa ML? Parang may ganitong diagram. So, ang tawag natin dyan ay spider plots. Okay, so first time ko lang din ito nakikita yan. Meron din tayong tinatawag kapag gusto nyo ay mas probabilistic. Ito yung tinatawag nating Monte Carlo simulation. So, Monte Carlo simulation treats uncertain inputs as random variable. So, meron na siyang probability distribution. So, probability distribution can include demand, triangular, log normal. So, you can sample thousands of cases. So, if you have historical data, you can sample that. And then, yung mga data na yun, meron silang NPV, similar projects. Then, you create this probability distribution. You compute for the NPV each time and get a full distribution. And from this, you can have the mean. Makakakuha kayo ng mean value, the standard deviation. So this is the standard way to blend many uncertainties simultaneously rather than one time. So it uses some probabilistic method. Okay, so pwede din natin gamitin yung break-even analysis. Pero yung equation dito ay mas mas advanced. And nagbibigay na tayo ng range, no? So, sa algebra ninyo, meron tayong ganitong diagram for break-even. Okay, ito yung tinatawag nating break-even pero combination na siya ng scenario analysis. So, it bundles inputs into coherent best, base, worst. No? So, to see how the decision behaves when many assumptions move together. So, yun yung the use of break-even analysis. We can use this for sensitivity analysis. So BEP plus scenarios to keep decisions intuitive for managers and to stress test non-linear or bundle changes. So if you want to have this linear and set of values na may profits, ito yung mga expected profits ninyo, and then a range of value for the loss. Okay, so we have the first example. Decker Scientific is considering an investment of $850,000 in a new product line. So the company will make the investment only if it will result in a rate of return of 20% per year or higher. So if the revenue is expected to be $290,000 and $325,000 per year, determine if the decision to invest is sensitive to the projected range of income using annual worth method. Okay, so ang meron tayo dito is yung revenue yung sensitive. So 290k and 325k. So the minimum expected revenue is 290 and yung maximum is 325. So solution using annual worth. Since meron naman tayong inflow, yun yung magiging revenue, and given then yung outflow, which is the cost. So revenue is 290k. Yung outflow doon is yung cost natin. First cost is 850. We need to convert it to annual. No? Annual worth method, kapag ginamit natin yung annual worth, kasama yung capital on interest. So annual worth is 5,000 positive. No? If you have the revenue of 290k. So if yung revenue ninyo ay gagawin natin 325, ano na ngayon yung magiging value ng annual worth? So 325, yun lang naman yung mababago, and then yung outflow or the cost is still the same. Ngayon yung annual worth tumaas lang kasi tumaas din yung revenue. So ngayon ano yung decision? So since yung both revenues natin ay positive, and then ganun din yung naging result ng annual worth. So the annual worth remains positive, indicating profitability for both cases. No? So therefore, the decision is not sensitive. Now usually, for this sensitivity analysis, kapag walang change dun sa sign, dun sa ina-expect natin, then the project is not sensitive. Basta walang change dun sa sign. So since yung annual worth na na-solve natin for two values of revenue ay both positive, then the project is, or the decision is not sensitive to revenue estimate range. Pero kapag naglagay pa tayo ng mas mababang expected revenue na like 200,000, so pwedeng maging negative na yung AW. So yung decision will now become sensitive. So for example 2, an expansion of the current BIM building information model software has been proposed to First Financial, which is the building's owner. So the total installed cost is 120,000 and it is expected to generate additional savings of 40,000 per year for 10 years, after which the software will be replaced with no salvage value. The annual operational cost is to be 10,000 for the first year and nag-increase by an arithmetic gradient G between 1,000 and 5,000. So ngayon, ang sensitive dito is yung operational and maintenance. So we need to determine if the expanded BIM is sensitive to gradient increases, which is 1,000 the optimistic, 3,000 most likely, 5,000 the pessimistic per year, and use AW analysis. So mas pinasimple yung solution kasi tatlong values na lang yung kailangan natin i-check. Using, ito yung mga gradient increases, yung G, 1,000, 3,000, and then 5,000. Okay, so we will be using the formula for gradient. First, the assumption is 1,000 annual increase in OM. So yun yung maging G natin. So AOP for the optimistic, 40,000 naka-annual na, minus saan galing yung 40,000. So 40,000 is the savings. Ito yung kikitain ninyo annual. While yung 120,000, this is the first cost, so we need to convert we need to convert this into annual worth, annual values, and yung operational and maintenance costs wherein nag-increase siya per year. So, pwede natin siyang makuha using the formula that we have. A given G, 10%, and 10. So, yung formula natin to for the gradient. So, makikita nyo yun from module 2. Tama ba? For annuities. Nandun yung formula niya. So, you can have this 3.7255 factor, and evaluating this or solving this using your calculator, it will give us 6744.5 positive. Now, kapag nag-increase yung gradient, nag-increase siya ng 3,000 per year, ito yung most likely, no? So, yung most likely maybe from historical data, the annual value, no, the annual worth, considering the revenue and then the cost, it will give us negative 706.5. Pero kapag 5,000 na yung annual increase, mas to mas, negative 8157. So, in this scenario, the investment shifts to being unprofitable. Tama ba? So, nag-shift siya. Now, from profitable to being unprofitable. Now, from positive, kapag 1,000 lang yung increase, mataas pa yung annual worth, positive. Pero, kapag tumaas, no, which is yun yung most likely na mangyari, na yung increase dun sa annual and operational maintenance cost ay 3,000, nagiging negative na yung annual worth. And then, kapag 5,000, mas tumaas lalo yung pagiging negative nung annual worth, no? So, the decision to expand BIM is sensitive to increases in annual operational and maintenance cost. As the gradient of OM cost increases, the profitability of the project changes significantly. So, under smaller cost increases, which is 1,000, the investment is profitable. Pero kapag for moderate or to high increases, 3,000 or more, the investment becomes a loss. So, meron tayong nakitang shift sa sign. So, therefore, the decision is sensitive to gradient increases.